Hey everyone, Harry here to talk about some significant action around the country, not in Fulton County, Georgia, or any place we've been following, about false electors and the broad scheme to try to steal the election in various states. There are 7 states that were really tight in which the Trump team tried to engineer the submission of false certificates. Some of them were more egregious than others. For example, in Pennsylvania, the phony electors had the foresight to write something on what they signed saying, if courts so hold, or et cetera, to make it clear. Not so in Nevada, where 10 officials, including the chair and the vice chair of the Republican Party, were charged yesterday by the Nevada Attorney General with 2 felony counts each, one for forging a phony baloney certificate and one for submitting it. This kind of, I think, interesting and noteworthy. So the Attorney General there, Aaron Ford, has really been very professional, quiet, buttoned down. There's been some sense of the investigation, but it's been really low profile until, boom, he comes out of the box with these charges yesterday. I personally, as a former prosecutor, like to see it that way, like to, see a prosecutor waiting until she or he have the real goods and then coming out of the box. And that is what's happened here. So, it's been a couple years, but notwithstanding everyone's agitating, when will this happen for the other cases? This is really not unusual for the life cycle of a case. And of course, no one's concerned about whether it's tried before or after the November 2024 election. They're now looking at, under Nevada law, now the guidelines, and the judge, I'm sure, will determine it, but it could be a significant fine, as much as 9 years in jail. I expect it's much less, but they are felony counts, meaning that they carry more than a year, potentially anyway, in prison. So this is the day of reckoning for those guys. And it's I think really noteworthy that another state AG, I was going to say has stepped up to the plate, but previously did, but just now, only when he was ready to unveil the charges did we find out about them. These charges of the state electors, I think, are significant in their own right, because they can testify about whatever instructions they took from Washington, but these are people like the chair and vice chair of the party who want some future here. They're not going to fall on their sword for Donald Trump. And so, in addition to justices being done, we could find out some real information about the plot. So that's the story in Nevada. 10 electors indicted. Now, the other state where important developments yesterday, Wisconsin. In Wisconsin, the attempt to enforce or to redress was different. You had the genuine electors suing the phony electors, 10 of them, to say, presumably they had standing under Wisconsin law. This was ours rightfully, and you absconded with it. You did the same thing. And that's a civil lawsuit by the Biden electors. And it was settled yesterday. A settlement was announced. And the electors aren't going to jail. It's a civil case. They're not paying significant fines. One thing they are doing is fessing up publicly, this was always a lie. Indeed, one of the emails here from one of the electors called this an attempted steal, not something you like coming out in discovery. But, as part of the overall historical record, especially at a time when Donald Trump doubles down every week on saying the election was rigged, it's just more and more makes clear that, among people who aren't lunatics or on drugs, of course Biden won. Of course this was lies. And that reinforcement of what happened in history, I think, is somewhat valuable. An interesting aspect here, the 10 agreed not simply to make these admissions, we were liars, etc. They agreed not to participate for an election cycle in any submission of electors. They agreed to cooperate with any cases, including that of the Department of Justice. And again, they may have some real information depending on what they were hearing from Trump land and what kind of orchestration was happening there. And there are two other people who were sued, the lawyers who helped them do this whole thing. One of them, a familiar name to us, Ken Chesebro. And those two specifically are not part of the settlement, and the 10 are going to be cooperating against them. So this puts Chesebro in deeper hot water, and his fellow fraudster lawyer in new hot water in Wisconsin. They don't get the relatively easy exit of, all right, you got me, I'm sorry, I lied. They're still going to face some consequences. So, not a day where anyone's going to jail or getting 40 lashes or anything like that, but a strong day for the truth. The truth being that, of course, Biden won. Of course, everybody knew it. And of course, people were lying, cheating, and trying to steal the election from him in the various states when they were submitting false elector certificates as part of what looks pretty clearly to be an overall national scheme that could still land the Trump folks, could still enhance their criminal liability in the different cases that have been filed. So in that sense, a good day and a broadening of the national and historical recognition of just what happened in the days before January 6th. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.